I'll do the intro.
Oh God, I don't know the intro stuff. I'm just
You've
here.
heard me say it 187 times over the past 4 years.
Oh man. Oh no. Um, hey, we're doing a podcast today, guys. And we're gonna have some conversations about video games, anime, and manga. That's my pal Jared.
Hi.
And I am Doc Al and Ladium, and welcome to our podcast.
What's
There
this
you go.
podcast called?
Season 1 and Checkup OVA.
Yay.
Jared's sick, guys. It's usually the other way around.
I am under the weather because my body was like, "Hey, let's get real crappy feeling right before we do a podcast." And I'm like, "Heck yeah, let's do it." I at least have the cognitive function to not cuss, so I don't have to edit this later. Even though I'm gonna listen to this in 2 days and be like, "Man, I sound like crap."
Oh. Well, you're probably gonna have to edit me cussing because of what we're gonna talk about today.
It's fine.
Hee hee.
You're gonna talking about. I'm a little out of it. You're gonna talk about an otome that you played. Your real first taste of non-mainstream otome.
Oof.
Which is something. I'm gonna talk about some anime real quick
Okay.
because I'm sick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get down with the sickness. Oh wow.
Also, before you did that, Ubisoft had their press conference thing and it sucked. The
Oh
end.
yeah,
Also, they didn't talk anything about the allegations or
yeah.
their higher ups at all.
So yeah, there's multiple levels to that. There was a lot of allegations that came out, and then some managerial shuffling happened on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Some people stepped down. Some people were just got away from their position or whatever weird, vague way they described it. And then hours before their presentation, they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to talk about this
This is all
in the presentation. It's all pre-recorded." It's like, you realize you can literally film a recording and slap it in there real quick.
And then they had the awkward shot of the guy where they're showing that he's just like standing in this giant room in front of like a tiny backdrop, and it made me really uncomfortable.
It's feel weird. Yeah, they showed what did they show? They showed Watch Dogs, which the Watch Dogs Legion, which they decided to introduce that with a edited version of a Holocaust poem.
Yep.
It's just like,
yikes.
That game obviously has been in development for a while, and like the whole premise of it is that like it's about Brexit, which honestly feels like that's been going on for 5 years now with the way 2020 has been going on. And just like, I don't really want to play a game set in that.
No.
I feel like they're not going to handle it well.
Well, especially when it's not political. Like,
yeah, Ubisoft games are very apolitical. It just like the whole tone of that trailer just felt very like they were trying to evoke Saints Row humor, and like I don't think that's what you want to be doing.
They pulled the whole joke of like, you can be the grandma. Like, they've already done that before.
Like Watch Dogs 2 was kind of moving in that direction, and this really just seems like they're just going way over the top with it. Yeah, it's Watch Dogs.
They talked about Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
It's an Assassin's Creed game that looks exactly like Odyssey and Origins.
Yep.
So it's another one of those.
You're a Viking.
And then they ended on Far Cry 6, which got leaked. So obviously, like, they were probably thinking like, man, this is going to be our big thing. But then everyone kind of knew that was happening. What's his face? Giancarlo Esposito's in it, the dude from Breaking Bad, which is weird because like this is a game set in like Latin America. He's not a Latin American.
No. Also, it's just really weird. It's like, here, child, have a grenade.
Also, like, apparently some of those signs in there were very just Google Translate-esque.
Oof.
Yeah. I'm honest, I feel like I saw a screenshot of the protagonist and they weren't white, and I was completely shocked by that.
Oh, wow.
Because usually a lot of these post Far Cry 2 Far Cries have been like, you're in a fancy place that's not America, well, except for 5, and you're this white person coming to be the savior of it. And
and you can weaponize dogs. Anyway, Ubisoft, it was It was basically like somebody walked into a very crowded room, farted like after they had had the stinkiest food ever, and then just walked away.
Like Loki did to you today.
That's exactly what it was. It was exactly like Loki came and took a rank dump and then immediately ran away from me. And I'm like gagging in my office trying to work and also trying to clean that up. That's what Ubisoft did.
It was like you could literally just go on stage like, hey, Watch Dogs is coming out this time, Assassin's Creed's coming out this time, Far Cry 6 coming out this time.
Peace.
And you literally got the same information that from those trailers and videos and everything, because like you know what a Watch Dogs games look like, you know what an Assassin's Creed game looks like, you know what a Far Cry game looks like.
Yep.
That's it. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do another one of these. And it's like,
why?
Sure. I mean, maybe at least in another one, maybe they'll show something different.
Maybe. They'll just show the new Just Dance.
Yes, they better. I would honestly take a Just Dance trailer over any of those three games.
I would too, honestly.
No joke. Yeah,
anyway,
that was the thing.
Just want to talk about that. But now, anime.
So yeah, I recently finished up watching Lovely Complex because I was like, man, I need a good romance shoujo anime after watching through all of Sing yesterday for me and just being completely mad about how that show ended up.
Oh no.
That show might have just the dumbest ending that I've seen in a good long time. And and also a very rushed ending. Which the whole premise of that show is like there's two like older characters like in their mid 20s, and then there's two younger characters pining after both of them. One's like 18, the other one's in high school.
Yikes.
Most of the show is seeing like the older characters eventually kind of come to terms with their relationship and getting together. It's like very slow burn-esque and all that sort of stuff. All the while the other two characters have to reconcile with the fact that they're not going to end up with who they want to end up with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the final episode and the older characters are like, yeah, this isn't working out. Let's go after the other two instead.
Ew, no.
That's literally like how the episode ends. And like the dude character like runs up to the girl who was pining after him, is like, yeah, so I realized I'm just in love with you now. It's like, no, that just literally makes no sense.
That's no. No.
The dude going after the older woman is like now in college, so like they try to make it better that way, but it's still real gross because also like he is the brother of the boy she dated when like she was a kid who died. It's real messy.
No.
But yeah, like that final episode just sucked the wind out of that whole show. Like it was the most rushed and dumb ending possible. Like it felt like it was going to be like, oh, well, they're gonna really conclude this in the actual finale. Then it's like, oh no, that's just it. That's just how this series ends.
Yikes. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
It sucked. So I was like, I need something to cleanse my palate. So I watched Lovely Complex, which is like way better. This is a show from like 90s, or not 90s. Again, I'm sick.
Yep.
Don't blame me. Like it's 06, 07-ish.
Okay.
The manga like began in like 01 and ran through 06. Let me see here. 07. It is height differences, the romance shoujo. You have tall girl, short boy.
Oh, that's adorable.
And like the first half of the show is like the girl realizing like they're like really good friends. They're like a comedic duo. Like everyone knows them as that. And then the first half of the series is like her realizing that she has feelings for him and him just being like the biggest idiot in the world when it comes to this. But then like once like she confesses, like it takes him a while to like kind of reconcile with his own feelings of being like, I don't want our friendship to get weird or anything like that. So it takes him a long time to do that. And then once they get together, like there's the very atypical like, oh, we gotta up the drama between them to see if this relationship is really legit or not. And then it's fine. There's actually some interesting things in this series that I was kind of surprised by because like I said, it's a show from 07. There's a trans character in this show.
Really?
Yeah. Like
and not treated as a joke?
For the most part, no. Like when she's first introduced, like she's kind of seen like as like a underclassman who falls in love with the dude character, and like she's like very cute and proper and all that sort of stuff. So like it takes the wind out of the sails of the girl. And then they find out like that this character is actually, well, biologically a boy, but she doesn't think of herself like that.
Assigned male at birth.
Yeah. So like the dude freaks out because he's like, "Oh, I don't swing that way," sort of thing. But then like after that, like everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, cool. This is who you are. Whatever.
Okay.
We're gonna treat you like this, and we're gonna gender you like this because that's how you want to be treated."
So that could have gone worse.
I was genuinely
considering
shocked at how
what
like
year it was out.
how well they handle it. Like genuinely shocked. In the second half, they introduce a young teacher who becomes like the main girl character literally describes him as like, "Oh, he looks like a dude from one of my Otome games."
Nice.
And like she starts to fall for him, and like he the dude, like the teacher like plays into it a little too much in like kind of creepy way, but mostly he's just like, "I'm just going to be this weird instigator to push the two main characters together and get them to realize like their feelings for each other." So like it kind of starts out, I was like, "Oh man, this is really going in a way I don't like." But by the end of it, I was like, "Okay, this isn't actually going the way I thought it was going to go, so it's okay." So it could have gone bad, but it didn't go too bad.
Not as bad as the other one that you watched.
No, thankfully.
No.
Like he does not get involved with anyone. The teacher does not get involved with anyone. Like they literally like find out like, "Oh, he has a fiance." Like he's just like a weirdo, essentially. Like he comes to school all the time with like his shirt like halfway buttoned down.
Oh man, I had a professor like that when I was an undergrad. It was weird.
It's very weird.
Yeah, he always had his shirt like halfway unbuttoned. He was always just like profusely sweaty, which like Florida, but it was odd when it was your professor. I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I finished it last night. It's fun.
Nice.
Apparently they made a PS2 game about it.
Really?
I'm guessing it's like a visual novel, which I would play that because that seems real goofy. They made a live action adaptation or a live action film of it.
Oh wow.
I'd watch that. And then they also made like a sequel manga that I think deals with the main girl's younger brother. So I'd read that. I think I've read this manga, but I have no recollection of it. I don't remember a single thing about it, so
Perfect.
I couldn't tell you if this is a good adaptation or not. It's 24 episodes, so like it's definitely longer than most shoujo adaptations, and like you get a good like you essentially get the full like high school career of them, so like it's more of a like an actual story than again what you see with most shoujo anime adaptations, so that was fine. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yay! I'm glad you got the bad taste out of your mouth.
I got the bad taste out of my mouth. Now I'm gotta find another good shoujo to watch. I might rewatch Blue Spring Ride again, which I didn't like that adaptation because like it's the problem.
It's incomplete.
It's very incomplete. Like it's like the first 20% of the story.
Yeah, I've been reading the manga and it's been really fantastic and
Yeah.
does a lot. But the anime, like, it's a pretty good interpretation of the first part of the story.
It is.
I wish they continued it.
Yeah, same. So like I might watch that and we could talk about that at some point.
Sweet.
Or
For the
I should
record,
rewatch
just
that.
because you will find this amazing. Loki decided just now that he was going to put his feet in my shoes.
Gonna go walking around.
So Loki was trying to wear my shoes.
They probably fit him.
Maybe.
You got small feet.
I do have small feet. But yeah, you should watch it and we'll talk about it because
I watched that when it was first airing and I liked it. And then I read the manga and I was like, oh wow, there's a lot more to this than I thought.
Yeah, I'm still reading the manga. I think my next volume comes out next month.
Yeah. Anyways, that's me.
That's you.
Talk about your Otome.
All right, you ready? You ready for some owl rage?
Oh boy.
Man, so I played a game called Love Letter from Thief X. And I have some information. It was released in Japanese January 6, 2011, and in English December 17, 2012. It just came out on the Switch like last week, last Thursday, because I had it on my calendar. Um, man, this this game.
So like I think I showed you this, right? I
You
gave you
mentioned it to me
I read you the synopsis and you were like, "Oh, that's interesting. I'll
because
get I'll
she's a curator at a museum.
Yes, that was the thing." And you're like, "I will put this in my calendar."
Yep. Um, yeah. So the main character is a curator at a museum, and it's an art museum. And at one point, these thieves break into the museum and essentially decide like, hey, we need to take you hostage because your great grandpa was the Japanese Da Vinci or something. I don't remember what they called him. um and that his final masterpiece can only be unlocked with your fingerprints. And then depending on which guy you pick and all, it differs, but like that's the gist of the story.
I'm gonna go dip my fingers in acid so no one gets it.
But also like if they're talking about how he lived during like the like 1930s and all that, I'm like, did they really have that kind of technology at that point? Like, but the timeline's all messed up because some of the things he made in the 1930s, but then like he was alive when she was a kid and like took care of her. And I mean, there's just a lot of weirdness going on here, and
This movie's immortal.
I don't think they understand what they're trying to go with here, and timelines and how long this man lived and what kind of technology existed at certain points.
It was the technology that made a mummy go,
Yeah. Oh man, you know I joke about that, but that's actually really cool. Like they gave him his final wish, and all he said was "eh."
eh.
That's fair. 2020. So yeah, this game. Um, they find out who you are because your character's wearing a ring that they're like, oh, that is his great granddaughter's ring. Oh my god, we have to find her. And it turns out that like they're all descended from their great grandpas.
That's how family lineage works.
It is, but they were also like Robin Hood s thieves, called the Black Foxes. Um, so this like lineage of black foxes has continued on, and like they all, everybody in their like all their family members were involved with this, and they were all involved in like getting his artwork. And I'm like, what is this? What is happening? I don't get this. It's dumb. Yeah. um so again, eventually, like, you know, she's going on with her life and hanging out with a friend and gets yelled at about some pork noodles. Um, and then they kidnap you because, of course, they do.
Ah.
Um, and they explain to you what's going on and that they need you to be part of the Black Foxes. And then they're like, okay, but also we need somebody to take care of you. So pick one of us. And that is where things break off into routes. Um, so there's I'm gonna say their name's probably wrong. Takuto, who is the hacker of the group. Kenshi, who is the firefighter and also the entry expert.
Hello, I'm the firefighter of the group.
That's what he does during his daily life. Like, Takuto is a programmer, but he's also their hacker. Kenshi is the firefighter and also their sniper slash entry expert. He's
That's
basically
not two jobs that relate to each other, though.
no.
Is his entry work just him taking an axe to a door and be like, I've busted open the door, we're in?
Well, the funny thing is that they're all like, oh, he's the entry expert, but then like in almost every single route, one of them will pull out something from their shoe and like undo a lock. And I'm like, then who actually is the entry expert? Because you all can clearly do this.
He's just there for he's just there to in case a fire breaks out.
And yet like I said, he's more like the muscle because he's the one who takes the most hits in all the routes. He constantly just takes hits.
Should wear his firefighter helmet.
I know.
Get hit less. I mean,
the
he'll get hit, but it'll be less hurtful.
less hurtful. The youngest one is Hero.
Are you holding out for a hero?
God no, this guy sucks.
Is this the main character of Gundam Wing?
Do
you give him an invitation to your birthday party and he rips it up and tells you he's going to kill you?
That would make it better. That would make it much better. But no, he is a college art student with an IQ of 180, and he is the disguise expert of the group. He is also like a super duper playboy, uses women to get information, and his twin sister wants to bone him, which is creepy.
There's a whole lot going on there.
There's a whole lot going on there. You had the boss who has the really bad beard.
Big boss.
He is the owner of the bar. He essentially doesn't play much of a part in the other routes, but he does in his own route, of course. But like, he just doesn't show up much other than just like, oh hey, I own this bar in the other routes.
I feel like someone at some point needs to do a ranking of characters named Boss.
Boss. This guy would be very low.
I'm assuming so.
And then last is the leader of the group. He works in the government. He's in the Ministry of Finance. Don't trust him. He's one of those dudes who's like good at everything he does. He plans all the missions. And he's rich. So those are your main datables. And what I learned from playing this game is that there are different seasons to each of these stories. And so like each guy has like 15 things for you to unlock. I'm just like, God, no.
I was not. When you said what you weren't expecting from this game, that was not what I was expecting you to say.
Okay, well, what I wasn't expecting from this game is that everybody wants to
everyone in this game is horny.
They're so horny all the time. And I'm just like, yo, calm down. Like, I don't, it was pretty early on when I was playing it when I was, because I went with Riki the first time and I started calling him Turbo when I was texting with you. Because, like, dude, he wanted it real bad.
He's like, I'm going to get in them pants. Welcome to the bone zone.
There was so much boning in this game. And I was just like, what is happening? And it's not like, you know, cute, romantic, implied boning. It's like, oh no, we gonna boning. And I'm just like, excuse me? No. I barely know you. Calm down.
This is like you stumbled into the explicit ratings of fan fiction.
Basically, yeah. Like, it's just like you're having a conversation and like, so what if we right now? And I'm like, yo, we were just talking about your family and like how hard of a childhood you had, and now you want no, these things don't go together, son. Like,
man, my life was hard. I had all these troublesome things happen to me. Hey, you want to
you know what else is hard?
You want to see what else is hard?
Oh my god,
got some real hard times.
There's so much boning in this game, and like it's bizarre because I'll use Turbo as the example.
Pretty easy to do so.
Yeah, no kidding. So he explains very early on, like, oh yeah, I don't fall in love. I just, you know, screw a lot of girls and let them go. I just don't. That's what I do. And you know, at that point you're like, okay, well, that's a red flag. I should run away. But somebody's like, oh, you know, he does that because he has to have an arranged marriage because of his position and his dad's position in the government. Da 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 da. I'm like, what? And so eventually you have to like learn about his family and how his mom like ran her car off a cliff when he was 10. Uh, and his sister has like a heart condition and she's dying, and his dad sucks. And so essentially it's like this dude was clearly not loved enough and he has channeled that into boning.
That's how that
But
works.
yeah, so the wildest one to me, okay, there's a lot of wild ones, but there's one in particular where like his sister has a medical emergency and everybody goes to the hospital and they're like, okay, yeah, we have to take her into surgery. She has a 50-50 shot of surviving this. And he's like, oh, okay, go ahead and do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And then like while she like they find out that she made it, she's fine, she's recovering. He's like, do you want a bone now? And I'm like, what are you talking about? You just found out that your sister survived in a very important surgery. You should go talk to your sister, or like, I don't know, go take a nap or something. You want a bone right now? What? Turbo, calm down. Ah! It was so bizarre, and I thought that like maybe it was just like, okay, this is gonna happen like one time and it'll be done. No, there's this one time where she's like, oh, I have these this lip gloss, they come in different fruity flavors. And uh he asked about the lip gloss at one point, and he like pulls his car on the side of the road, like, let me get a taste of that cherry. And I'm like, what no, you're driving, keep driving. No, weird.
Forward.
Lewd.
A lot of meanings in that one.
No kidding. Yeah, there's a whole lot with him, and like 2 of his CGs are basically the exact same CG, except for the only difference is that how the main character is positioned. One of them is him shirtless, like over her, but she's like face to face with him. And then the other one is him shirtless over her, but like her back is to him. And it's like almost the exact same CG. I'm like, y'all just got lazy.
Look, we have 15 routes we have to do. Give us a break.
We can only talk about bone in so many times. No, that's not true. They all want a bone. And then like the second epilogue with him. Oh, that reminds me. The first epilogue with him has this whole thing with like this Julia thief from Russia and how she's super duper sexy. And he's like, oh yeah, I've heard she's really hot. I should probably like try and see if I could do something with her. And main character's
do something with her.
Main character's like, I'm literally right here. I'm your girlfriend. Hello. And he's like, oh, it's fine. And then like,
hey, what's up?
Later on in this epilogue, they meet up with Julia, and she's like, oh hey, you're pretty attractive. What if we go in this other room that has a bed? He's like, okay, yeah, it's fine. And
what are we gonna do there?
No, he knows because like she's straddling him. And so like they go into the room, main character follows, and he's like, oh, what is happening? I can't watch this. And he like puts his hand up this lady's shirt. And I'm like, you're supposed to be dating main character. What are you doing? He's like, look at this C-section scar she's got. She had a baby.
I've always wanted to feel one of these.
He's like, I can prove that kid in the Russian orphanage is yours because you had a C-section scar. I'm like, did you really have to put your hand up her shirt for that? Really?
That's how that works. That's science.
And then his second epilogue, he straight up asks you like, you want to go make a baby? And I'm like,
how do I do that?
The one story I was promised puppies. It had the CG with him holding a puppy, and I'm like, heck yeah, like cute dude and puppy. What can go wrong? Boning, lots of boning. He had one of the highest bone counts of any of the characters. I'm still shocked that Boss had the lowest.
High bone density.
I should also clarify, I did not finish all the routes. I was not gonna do that to myself. I know I don't like myself that much, but I also don't hate myself that much. So I did not do all the routes. So there may be more boning, but Boss actually has the lowest rate of bones.
I mean, there probably is more boning. That's probably a guarantee.
Oh yeah,
What
well he
What if you somehow didn't get all the boss bones because you didn't do all the routes? You did the routes where he just doesn't do anything.
well I did like the main route and his epilogue. And like the epilogue is at a hot expected it to be a bone zone. And he's just like, no, what if I gave you a ring that I made? I'm like,
I made you this cool ring.
okay. And you know, maybe it's a whole thing of like Boss was married before and
He don't have time for this. He's like, whatever. I've been there, done that.
well
These young whippersnappers.
he's 35. His wife died while he was out on a mission, so he's all like, you know, messed up because of that. But either way, he has the lowest bone count of what I played at 0.
He got no bones.
Oh my god. Ricky has a lot. He has a lot. Turbo.
I mean,
Turbo.
we have clarified by talking about, when we talk about Xenoblade Chronicles, there's one thing that a Ricky does.
Ricky.
Is that a Ricky
Yep, it's true. You got so mad at me when I texted you that.
I was like, oh god.
There's a few other like Heroes. He's weird. His sister wants to bone him.
How many times does he sing to you, I can be your hero, baby?
That would make it better, honestly.
Or
does
he sing the Chad Kroger song called
No.
Hero from the Spider-Man official
Spider-Man
soundtrack?
Oh my god. The funniest part is that he dresses in drag a lot and like does a pretty good job. He mostly comes across as a butthole the whole time, and he like tries to put on this whole like nice guy persona, and I'm just turned off completely by that.
What is he? 18?
He's 21, so close.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's the baby of the group.
That's
so
the age where you'd still think that's appropriate to do.
Right. So the two that I spent the most time with, and one of them I have a really funny story about because of what they decide to do with him. Takado and Kinshi are the two that I spent the most time with. Takado being the programming, he's tsundere. That's what he is. Period.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah, like
I've heard a lot about this dude.
Yeah, he is 100%. That is what he does. He calls you an idiot all the time. Yeah, basically. He doesn't want you going on missions. He doesn't like his parents.
I'm gonna go listen to my My Chemical Romance albums.
God. Yeah, so a lot of his route is just like, and the thing is that he has like the cutest route. If you're on Ricky's route, if you're on his route, he's like, he confesses to you and is super sweet and is adorable. And I was like, I want to date that guy. And then I dated him on his route and he's a butthead. He was like tsundere as and I'm like, dude, guy, like, what happened to you when you were cute on that other route? Why don't you pull that stuff up? But his is mostly fine up to a point, and like he doesn't actually do any of the boning until like the epilogues start. And then he just goes crazy.
He got a little taste and he's like, oh man.
Well, he didn't do any in the main route, and then
it's time to go hog wild.
And the thing is that it's like kind of creepy because he gets very possessive, and like if anybody looks at you, he's like, no. I'm like, oh no, that's a red flag. That's a big red flag. That's not romantic. Good, no. Also, there's like a part where he can't swim, and you guys decide to go to like a lazy river type thing.
Good idea.
Yeah, and main character's like, oh, okay, you should get on this position, so that you can hold on to the handles and you won't fall off. And then he straight up was like, "We can't do this. I have a boner." It's like, okay. Also, he at one point unties main character's bikini top with his teeth. And I'm like, buddy, what is happening here?
Look how fancy I am. Oh.
Um, yeah, there is a really, really funny part though, where there's this giant misunderstanding where she's like, all right, in her brain, she's like, we've been practicing at this game and I really want to beat him at it. Like, I've gotten tips from my friend. And so she's thinking about this and she tells him, like, oh, hey, you should go take a bath. And then, like, we can do it all night long. And he's like,
oh no.
He's like, okay, yes. And he immediately goes and takes a bath. He yells about some shampoo at one point, which is when I showed you the 9 pool tables. I was like, that's not where you take a shower.
Also, why would you need 9 pool tables there? How many people really are wanting to play pool at your establishment?
This apartment.
Why does he need that many pool tables?
I was
Is he
like,
that much of a pool shark?
I was like, you guys, like, you have a bathroom background. What are you doing?
They were really excited about those 9 pool tables.
Apparently. So yeah, when he gets out, he like turns off the lights, comes in there, is like, all right, let's do this. And she's like, why'd you turn the lights off? You gotta turn the lights on. And he's like, oh, that's bold. You want to do it with the lights on? Okay, all right, let's do this. Then she pulls out the game and he's like, oh my god,
Got him.
There's another part where he like asks to take a bath with you, and then once again it's like she's like, hey, I can feel a thing poking me, and I'm like, oh my god. Yes.
Sorry, I brought a pin into this bath with us.
Sorry, I'm too busy hacking. That is my computer. Ah!
Hacker voice, I'm in.
Oh no, don't say that when we're talking about
I will tell you that was unintentional, but also very good.
That was really good. I thought it was intentional.
No.
Oh my god. His second story is actually like relatively cute. I say relatively because there are some weird parts about it. But like they have to find these pieces to a music box that his great grandpa was going to give to this other woman that was not his great grandma, that he was in love with before her. And so they go in and find the pieces and all, and it's this whole thing. Like they have to go to Italy, and he protects her at one point and like gets his hands really, really burnt. And she's like, that's your livelihood. You just burnt your hands. Like that's a big deal.
Don't worry, I'm gonna become a mind hacker.
God.
And then I'll mind.
So it sucks that like he's good on other routes, but his own route, I'm just like, you suck, dude. Like you're a butthole. But I guess that's the whole tsundere thing anyway. Like that's what they do. He also calls you pork noodles for a good while because it's like you ate the last bowl of pork noodles that he really wanted.
It's the only one left in the world.
The only one.
Can never buy another one.
You want to talk about Kinshi?
Sure.
All right, so Kinshi, he's the firefighter. His mom owns a gourmet Japanese restaurant. He doesn't really want to date anybody because, like, I can't really talk about the fact that I'm a thief. Like, that's hiding a big part of my life from people. So, like, nah, not really my thing. He also donates, like, any money that he makes off of the thieving stuff to this, like, it's basically like an orphanage. It's like a children's home that a guy that he went to high school with started after his dad died in a fire.
His name is Kazuma Kiryu. This is actually a Yakuza spinoff game.
Oh my god. Well, there is a lot of mafia stuff in Kinshi's routes. So
Oh, the Tojo clan's at it again.
So yeah, he gives money to that orphanage, which is kind of cute. And apparently, like when his dad was a firefighter, and his dad was the one who rescued his friend out of the house. So that's the whole thing. He was gonna be like part of the National Guard, but then when his dad died when he was a senior in college, he's like, never mind, I'm gonna be a firefighter. And people hate him for it for some reason.
What?
Yeah, like all of his friends from college are like, you're a traitor.
What?
Yeah, they got mad at him for coming to the football game, which is why I asked you what a tight end is, because he was like, yeah, I was a tight end. I was like, I don't know what that is.
To be fair, this is a game that takes place in Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am very surprised that they would utilize like have one of their characters be like an American
Football player.
Like I mean that is a sport that exists in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But not to the same level that like it does here or other places.
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Unless they just really wanted to make a tight end joke.
They might have wanted to just make a tight end joke. So yeah, you end up staying at his house, which is the Japanese gourmet restaurant with his mom.
And then it catches on fire and he's like, "Oh god, I'm a firefighter."
No, he doesn't do that. The issue is that boss is like really obsessed with horoscopes and things like that, and he's like, oh hey, it would be bad for you to go to your job at the museum because of the direction you have to walk every day, so I just called them and told them that you're quitting. And she's like, no
thought of being like, oh, you could just change your route.
No. So she ends up having to work at the restaurant. It's just a mess. So Kenshi has some interesting moments, and overall he's like the nicest of the dudes. He's like genuinely a nice dude. He's not like trying to be the nice guy, and he's not trying to be like a playboy, and he's not a tsundere. Like he's genuinely the most kind of the routes and my favorite of the guys, except for he has a very strange flaw.
He has a what?
He has a very strange flaw.
Okay.
So he's also, for the record, the first one that you bone before you actually get into a relationship with. And you end up boning at his mom's house in his bedroom, which, okay, sure. There is a part in the game where Kenshi gets really, really drunk, and you go back and you're checking on him, and he's like, oh, hey, I want to do the thing. And so you do the thing, but then like he falls asleep in the middle of it. Like, that seems like a problem.
Have you never seen that trope before?
No.
Really?
Is this really a thing that people like fall asleep in the middle of banging?
It's like a comedic trope.
Oh my god.
Like usually it's like a dude who's drunk or something. It's like the cousin of the, hey, this dude's drunk but can't get it up now type of deal.
Okay.
I have definitely seen things where it's like, oh, so and so passed out while they're trying to bone, and now it's a very awkward situation. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Like, I feel like that'd be really, really weird.
Yes.
Anyway, so it becomes awkward between the two of them because, like, he fell asleep while he was like inside of main character here. Yeah. So that's.
He was extinguishing a fire, then he couldn't.
God. In one of his, I think it's his second story. Yes. Or maybe it's the epilogue. One of his stories, anyway. There is a part where you're having to protect the princess of a country with Kenshi. And the main character gets all upset because like Kenshi's really nice to her, and the princess ends up getting a crush on him, and blah 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 blah. Big deal. Jealousy trope is terrible. Anyway, so there is a part where like after the whole crew ends up like doing the job that they're supposed to do, they go back to the hotel, and they're all drinking, and Kenshi's also like, he's not very drunk, he's drunk a little bit, but like
He's
he
tipsy.
clarifies he's not drunk. And so he's like, "Hey, let's take this to the other room." And so they go to the other room. She's like, "Are we gonna do it like right here with them in the other room? Like that's scandalous, but like I'm excited about it." And then she like looks over and he's asleep, and I'm like, "Dude, do you have narcolepsy?"
I mean, to be fair, like, if he's a dude who's literally a firefighter in his day job, and then his night job is being like a thief, that dude ain't getting much sleep. Let that boy rest.
But I wish they would clarify that as opposed to just making him seem like a weirdo. Like, you could just make him.
I'm sorry you're not getting the nuance from your Bone Zone Otome game.
Easy to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I don't really get to sleep much, I'm doing this on this time, I'm doing this at this time, and I only get these days off." And
he goes into that in one of the other routes you didn't get to.
Probably. He's the only one that doesn't have a wedding route, and I'm not sure why. I'm like, does he die? Like, why does he not get a wedding route? But I can't do it. I can't play more to figure out why this man doesn't get a wedding route, because I can't deal with how much everybody wants to bone in this game. Like, I have no issue with people wanting to bone. It's fine. I don't care. And like in certain games, this is done quite well. Like I was telling you, Code Realize, like it's definitely implied that that is happening, but it's not like, "Hey girl, you want a bone?" It's like freaking weird.
Welcome to non-mainstream Otome games.
It's so weird. The art's really nice though. So there's that. I don't know, man. There's just a lot happening here.
It was very humorous to hear when you were going through each route and being like, "Oh my god, I cannot handle this."
I couldn't. The first time that it happened with Riki, with Turbo, I was legitimately embarrassed. Like I was blushing, and I was texting you. I'm just like, "What is happening? What is going on? I can't handle this right now." Like I'm a grown woman, and like I've done things in my life, but like I was embarrassed playing these games. It was like, I don't know that I can continue doing this because I keep blushing, and like I feel embarrassed playing this because of like someone's gonna judge me for being like a perv. But no, Turbo's a perv, not me. I didn't choose this.
Mm-hmm. That's what you gotta tell yourself.
No. And it's probably not accidental that when you reach the true ending for each guy, it's called the happy ending. Hey! It probably is accidental, but man, there's just so much happening here. And
there's a lot of action happening, you're right.
Yeah. And like 95% of it is not romantic nor sexy. If a dude came up to me and said to my face, "Hey, you want to go make a baby?"
A, they don't know you.
A, they don't know me. And B, GTFO. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. That's no, absolutely not. Go away. Like that's a quick way to just make me lose interest entirely in you. It was just, what is this game?
Bone Zone Otome.
Yeah, that's... Why do you think Kenshi doesn't have a wedding route? I tried to Google it, and I could not find an answer on why he doesn't have a wedding route.
He gives you the ultimatum: if you do not bone him right now, he will set himself on fire, and you don't. And he sets himself on fire.
God, he's a firefighter. That's not what he's supposed to do.
It's a dark route.
There is a pretty funny scene in it's in the hackers route. I was telling you about the whole like house setting on fire and him burning his hands and all that. They get rescued via a helicopter, and at one point, Kenshi is like, oh, hey, hold on, it's my time. And he like pulls out like some water and starts like throwing it on the roof of the building. He's like, all right, that should cover it. That should be enough that the firefighters can save the rest of the building. And I'm just like, okay.
That's not how that works.
No, but also it's hilarious. And he's like, yeah, they tried to kill us. And, they did a lot of terrible things. They also stole this thing that we needed to steal back. But I don't want that building to burn down because it goes against my ethics. So let me just throw some water on that building. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Noted hacker ethics.
Oh no, this was Kenshi in Hacker's Route.
Noted firefighter ethics.
Firefighter ethics. Yeah, man, like there was a lot happening here. And I was genuinely so embarrassed at certain times playing this game. Genuinely embarrassed. I was sending you so many screenshots of just like banana stuff. And then there's even stuff that I couldn't send you screenshots of because I'm like, this is just too far beyond what I can
I am
actually
not
send.
a child. I can handle things. Please.
I was
Cut me some
blushing.
slack.
I was blushing.
Yeah, it was funny.
Oh my god. Yeah, the first time that happened, like you got to get the reaction.
It was great.
In real time.
I very much enjoyed it.
I was like, oh man, I should stream this at some point just so people can see my reactions. And it's like, oh yeah, that's too expensive, but would be funny. Somebody wants to pay for the equipment, I'll stream the rest of the game.
Oh god, don't suggest put that in the world. You don't want some creeper being like, I want you to stream these Otome games.
Oh, yuck. Ah. Anyway, this game's not very good. Are we going to go to the official Otome?
Well, with that being said, it's time once again to go to Al's official ranking of Otome and see where it ranks on the list. For those of you who have been following along, and for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, let's give you a quick rundown of what's on the list. We have the worst Otome game of all time, I Love You, Colonel Sanders, A Finger Looking Good Dating Simulator at 16, Amnesia at 15, Hakuoki Kyoto Wins at 14, Psychedelica The Ashen Hawk at 13, Hatoful Boyfriend Holiday Star at 12, Bad Apple Wars at 11, Period Cube at 10, Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly at 9, Mr. Love Queen's Choice at 8, Code Realize Wintertide Miracles at 7, Hatoful Boyfriend at 6, Mystic Messenger at 5, Collar Cross Malice at 4, Code Realize Future Blessings at 3, 7 Scarlet at 2, and at number 1, Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. Ow!
Can I make a live edit real quick?
It depends on what you're trying to edit.
I want to turn these two. I want to switch them.
Okay, so that was actually something I was going to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
As we have gotten, we are many months past since we last were here. I was going to ask you if Mr. Love makes a jump up in the list or drops in the list.
Nope, makes a jump up.
So here's a live correction. Now at number 8 is Mystic Messenger. And now at number 5 is Mr. Love, Al's favorite mobile Otome game that she will never stop playing. Because I will always say, hey, you have to keep playing this game.
I just like, I'm too invested at this point. Like I've done too much in it to just stop. Wild.
You're in too deep.
It's true. Anyway, ranking.
Let's figure out where whatever this game's called gets on this
Love Letter
list.
from Thief X.
Love Letter from Thief Cross.
Yeah.
Because that's what the PlayStation button's called. Ow.
Yes.
Is Love Letter from Thief X better or worse than I Love You, Colonel Sanders, A Finger Looking Good Dating Simulator?
It is better.
Thank God. Ow.
Yes.
Is Love Letter from Thief X better or worse than Amnesia?
I will say, since I only got through one route of Amnesia and I got through several routes of this, it is better than Amnesia.
Okay. Is it better or worse than Hakuoki Kyoto Winds?
Same situations here.
Okay.
I got there more routes.
Well, now we're getting into games that you got through all the routes, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is it better or worse than Psychedelica of the Ashen Hawk?
It's worse.
Okay, that makes sense. That's a little joke for Al.
Good goof.
So there you go. Coming in now at number 14, Love Letter from Thief X.
Kenshi is the only thing that saves it.
Okay, here's my final question for you about this game.
Okay.
Would this game be better if it instead was talking about the Thief X was Mr. X from Resident Evil 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely yes. That'd be so funny.
But he also just wants to bone.
No. I retract my statement. Nope. Nope. Man, if you ever try and go look for like some Sherry and Jake cuteness on like AO3,
Boning.
there's so much Mr. X boning, like so much of it. I'm like, guys, y'all are like way too horny, like way too thirsty.
That's what that website is literally for. It's just for people to be horny.
I mean,
big horny online.
I just wanted to read some cute fics, and all
and
I
then
see
you
is
ran
just
into
like,
the wall of horny.
I ran into it. I was just like, you guys are pervs. Like, he's a literal monstrosity that wants to murder them. And you're like, what if instead he wants
Have
to
you met
bone
the
them?
internet?
I hate the internet sometimes.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Al, send us on out.
Oh, man. I can't do this part. You talk so fast.
You have heard me say this for 187 weeks.
All right. If you want more from us, you can go to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool. There's columns and reviews there. If you want more from me, I'm anladium.com. There are columns and reviews there. You can follow us on Twitter. Are we at Seasonal Checkup? Is that where we are?
Anime Checkup.
Anime Checkup, sorry.
Twitter.com/Anime Checkup.
Thank you. And we have a Patreon, and I don't remember what that one is.
Patreon.com/SACOVA.
Buy us a slice of pizza. Be our friend. Thank you. Did I miss anything?
Nope.
Cool.
That's basically it. You've definitely listened to me say that a lot.
I can't say it as fast as you, and also I don't remember all the handles.
I like how you also just like have the same cadence that I do when I say it.
Next week, what are we gonna talk about?
I don't know.
Something. We'll talk about something. Jared, feel better.
We're gonna talk about how I saw someone in Final Fantasy 14 last night whose name was Borat, my wife. And I think that might be the best Final Fantasy 14 name I've ever seen.
It's pretty legit.
Pretty good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll figure out something for next week, and then hopefully I will feel better.
You better feel better. Go sleep.
That's not gonna happen.
Go sleep.
I mean, we might have an idea of what to talk about next week.
Oh.
We'll figure that out though.
Okay. Bye bye.